If you've struggled with stress, balance, or burnout, and simply feel discouraged or even defeated, and if you're ready to move from force to flow and enjoy ultimate Zen success in your career, health, or relationships, then the Zen Success Show is for you. Your host, Carissa Sims, is an entrepreneur, corporate consultant, best-selling author, meditation teacher, and healer who has found her own Zen success. Here's your host, Carissa Sims. Welcome to this week's episode of Zen Success. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with David Martin. Hi, David.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. David and I met at Whole Foods, of all places.
Isn't that fun?
It was so fun. We were sitting next to each other working, and I, of course, am always eavesdropping. So I just had to connect with him. And I'll just share a little bit about David. David Martin is the founder and CEO of lightlounge.life. With over 35 years of business experience, Mr. Martin has a very eclectic knowledge in bootstrapping businesses. He attended Indiana University's School of Business and School of Music in the 1990s. What a great, yin yang, the business and music, the art. It's amazing.
Yeah.
He was at the helm of a unique online reverse auctioning system called Get It Planet. The solution was later sold to eBay. Congrats. In college, David was a collegiate long-distance runner. I'm a runner. But I didn't make it to college running, but I did triathlon. I was on the triathlon team in college, so that was fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, so fun. And it was a club team, so luckily they accepted everybody. That's what I was looking for. He became fascinated with our body's ability to recover from hard workouts. This led him to work with Beachbody in 2005. So, and I tried Beachbody too. I was a member, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
David has been working the past 8 years in light therapy. He is the creator of LightPod L3, a device that is patent pending. He hopes to help people live longer, happier lives, free from pain and disease. It's my pleasure to welcome David.
Well, thank you, Carissa. I appreciate you having me on, and it's very exciting to be here with you. And yeah, I'm an old time entrepreneur, but I've enjoyed my successes. And I do want to say that along the way, so if you're an entrepreneur along the way, you also have a lot of failures. So I think it's always really cool that, everybody tells you, I forgot to turn off my phone. I apologize. It's really cool to, talk about your successes, but I think what I think that's brought me this far are my failures, and being able to embrace my failures and understand them and learn from them and grow from them has made me a better entrepreneur can you believe it, Carissa? In 8 weeks, I'll be 60 years old.
Woohoo!
It's just crazy. And I feel 30.
Okay.
So I'm excited.
It's all about how you feel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like the number, okay, that's over there or whatever. But I mean, I understand about the failures, and I'd really like to go deeper into that. Let's talk about some of your failures and how that made you a better entrepreneur, how that gave you some perspective to go into the next venture.
Yeah. So early on in the early 90s, I started a music publishing company that kind of morphed into, at first, the music publishing company was very unsuccessful. Okay. Because I was looking at music publishing from the standpoint of traditional music publishing. And early 90s, we were right in the middle of a wave of independent artists and established artists learning about how publishing works. And so we were miserably failing. And we're like, I'm going to have to close this publishing company if I can't come up with an idea. and a couple of buddies of mine and said, hey, let's start the Independent Music Association so that we can educate young musicians on how to control their careers. And that failure turned into success. So we pivoted and we taught people how to get their music publishing back, right? But I was headed down, bankruptcy with that particular solution if we didn't pivot. And it made it successful. So it's just a great example of what failure does to motivate you to pivot and position your products and services in a way. And we went on to help a lot of current publishers help their artists. We worked with, big named artists as well as small name artists, because nobody was really at that time in the early 90s educating independent acts on how to command their career. Now, with MP3 and all of those other things, artists are just in total command of their careers.
That's right. Which is incredible. Good for them. Yeah.
But again, sometimes you have to pivot. I started, and I'll say this, I started a really cool wireless or wearable software solution with a friend of mine who I've known for 20 years.
Not a smartwatch. Just a wearable device.
No, what we were going to do, not a wearable device, but what we were going to do was we were going to create a piece of software that will allow you to tie all your wearable devices into one dashboard.
Mm-hmm.
Because there really isn't anything like that. Most of these wearables have their own software, right? So being able, like I have the iWatch and I have the Whoop, right?
Okay.
And so they don't communicate with each other. So we were working on that. And this was an extraordinary failure because I put over $1 million into this business. And
oh, wow. But that was because of your success of the other business, the music publishing?
Well, not just that, but successes that I'd had. So I lumped that all in there.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a prototype. We sold the prototype. It was really good. And then our CIO, our chief, information officer, had a nervous breakdown.
Oh, interesting.
And burnt our servers. So just took the servers out. Yeah. And I mean, it was crazy, right? But you know what? These are, and we lost all our money. It was a horrible thing. And, but you learn from these things. You learn that while somebody might have the technology, are they good enough to run a company or be part of a company? Do they have the background if I would have dug deeper, which I didn't, I was just enamored with the technology. Things would have been different, but you learn so much about yourself through your failures. And so the big thing here to everybody that's listening is really, really embrace your failures. And when you have success, it's great. Go out, have a piece of cake, whatever you eat, have a glass of wine, whatever, and then get back to work, because success also causes complacency in business. So,
but not for you.
No, not, I like I said, I'm thankful that the technology that we're working on right now, which is light therapy, that I am feeling young, and Light Lounge has some spectacular things coming in the future that I think. So you read our mission statement: to help people live longer, happier lives free from pain and disease. Well, our technology is an opioid alternative. Okay. And so it's powerful in pain management, back pain, joint pain, arthritis pain. It's powerful with that, right? But the future is coming quickly. As all of us know, quantum computing is nearing completion. And we know about AI and machine learning. So computers are going to become very smart and help us solve really big problems. I heard an interview with the Zuckerbergs, and they want to defeat disease. And I think it's going to happen pretty quickly. I think in the next, 5 to 10 years, we will defeat all disease. And the major contributor to a lot of these treatments will be light. And we're very excited about it. We're working with researchers around the globe to bring more and more of these services to bear. And it's an exciting field to be in, much like the music industry was in the early 90s. It was starting to turn over to independence, and the big record companies were going away. We're in that same situation with healthcare right now. These big healthcare conglomerates and these big schools and research facilities, they're all breaking apart because these brilliant scientists want to contribute their amazing IPs. And if they do it in a college setting, they have to give that all to the college. College makes billions of dollars. And, whoever they're, with makes billions of dollars. And what I'm excited about is it's very much like what happened in the music industry is happening to healthcare. We are seeing a splitting apart of healthcare because there's great entrepreneurs out there. I don't know if I'm putting myself in that category. I hope so. But there's great entrepreneurs out there, and there's great scientists. And
you're being humble. You're being humble.
There's phenomenal companies like ours that want to work with these scientists. We want to honor their IPs, their intellectual property, and we want to help them get that to the customers so that they can see their creations come to life. And you said early on, I have a degree in music. It's a creative thing. And I see our amazing clinical researchers and the great minds of this world as artists. They're not just brainiacs. They're artists. They look at these problems like an artist does, and they create a solution. And they're going to want to work with companies like ours because we will honor the IP. We will help them to build that IP and create a business solution around that IP that can, help them make the money that they deserve. So that's what we're after.
Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. And, interestingly enough, I was supposed to interview David yesterday, and I said, wouldn't it be powerful if I tried the Light Lounge before our interview? And he's like, yeah, just go. And they don't have an office yet in Boulder, but could that be coming?
Yeah, well, we did have an office in Boulder, but the dentist office above us started on fire and took it out. We were only about 7 months in the market, but we have plans. We're going through insurance.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Talk about another failure, but
well, nobody was hurt. That's
okay. Yeah.
All we did was lose 4 light pods, and who cares about equipment?
Yeah.
Most important thing is nobody was hurt. It happened in the middle of the night. I guess they had some sort of light bulb in their facility short out. And but yeah, we'll be back in Boulder soon, but we have one in Arvada. I think that's where you went. Yeah.
Yeah. So Arvada is not too far from me because I'm in Lafayette, and you're in Boulder, correct, David?
No, I'm actually in Evergreen, Colorado.
Oh, you're in Evergreen. Okay. Wow. Well, then I guess it was serendipity that I met you at Whole Foods because you're all the way in Evergreen.
My daughter goes to an art school there in Boulder, and it's literally right behind the Whole Foods there. So I was waiting for her to finish.
Yeah, my daughter goes to the same school, so that's our work spot, Whole Foods. While our daughters learn. So anyways, I was like, oh, I'll be a little bit late. I want to try this. And so driving to Arvada, it's about a half an hour, not too bad. But I get there and it's packed. I mean, it's not like this is a new thing. No, it's like people are already utilizing the devices. It's like back-to-back appointments. I had my appointment, and I got there a little bit early. And what I loved about your facility, extremely clean, friendly. It felt like also feng shui and the branding and the orange, just everywhere with the cloths, like attention to detail was just impeccable.
Well, that's
So
good. I'm
yeah.
glad you enjoyed it. And we actually have our own orange oil that we diffuse in the studios. And hopefully you didn't really recognize it, but the orange oil is a very calming thing. And
Mhm.
one of the things that our light therapy does is really helps with stress and anxiety
Mm,
and depression. And I
mm.
call it the happy light. Matter of fact, in our logo, you'll see like
Yeah,
a
I
little
see the light
bulb,
bulb. Uh-huh.
and that little light bulb guy is named Happy.
Okay.
That's our mascot, Happy. And someday I promise you'll see Happy like Mickey Mouse running around the country. And don't be surprised if I'm in there, because I love to be out in the public and meeting with our great customer base. And you're right. The Arvada location is owned by Tess and Dan Peterson. They're one of our franchisees, and they're the most amazing couple, first and foremost.
Mm.
Great business minds. And yes, that location is getting close so we're a membership location. That's how we make medical grade light therapy so affordable. It's done on a membership. And what happens is you can only put so many members in, and then you're closed for a membership. And that location is getting very close to being closed. So if you live in the Arvada area, or you're within 3 miles of,
Hmm.
you know, uh, Indiana Street and 94th, I think, or Indiana, and yeah, it's kind of West Arvada.
We don't have to get into those details here. This is a global podcast, but people can look it up. Yeah.
You definitely better get there, because that
Yeah.
one will be closed soon, but we'll be opening more.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. And I'll just share. Can I go on? Can I share more about your
Oh,
facility?
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm glad.
So then the person that was helping me, showing me around and how to use the device, he was telling me that he also uses the light therapy and it's helped him with mental health issues. So that's what you were talking about. And he was saying that he could feel it activating in the cortex in the brain, when it was being applied.
Yeah, so back in 2020, of course, we were all dealing with the pandemic, but a really interesting clinical research study came out, and you guys can Google it, because it's really simple to Google, and it's about mitochondrial dysfunction, okay, and depression. So if you just Google clinical research study mitochondrial dysfunction, depression, the study will come up. There were 5,000 participants over 10 years. So it's a really good double-blind
Yeah, that's
study.
a big study. Yeah.
And what they found out was, when exposed to this light, so our mitochondria respirates, okay? And as we age, that respiration gets interrupted. And sometimes when we're not feeling well, what will happen is the mitochondria will respirate, kind of like missing a spark plug in your car would be the easiest way to explain it. And it starts to send these really weird signals to the other organelles and mitochondria. Well, what they found out was that depression is linked to mitochondrial dysfunction. We used to think depression was a chemical imbalance of the brain, and we used all kinds of drugs and things to do it. And I've always said that our light is called the happy light, because when you get in it, you feel, you just feel better, because this is communicating to our mitochondria, which is in every cell in our body. And if that mitochondria is producing, getting its photons, which is what we give, light photons, it's going to produce more ATP, which obviously is kind of like the exhaust of the mitochondria, and it's going to be healthier, and you're going to be healthier. Okay. And to tell you how like somebody said to me, how important is the mitochondria? Well, let's put it this way. if your mitochondria is not producing ATP, you are dead. I mean, we're seeing it more and more as the organelle that signifies the beginning of disease, that signifies, problems with the body. And when it's healthy and it's operating great, so are you. And there's obviously 12 hallmarks of aging, if we want to talk about aging, but it plays a big role in your aging.
That's amazing. Oh, wow. There is so much we can talk about this. It's incredible. So I'll just go on with my experience. So, and in going into the device, you clean it and they give you a little gel pad, which is so nice for your head if you want.
Right.
And so because it is hard, it kind of reminds me of a tanning booth.
Right.
But
right.
healthy.
Without the UV light, right.
Is that how you came up with the idea?
Well, I wish that I could tell you that I came up with the idea of photobiomodulation, but what I didn't. It was discovered in 1967, and the base technology is public use. It's over 50 years old. There's been 6,000 human studies. Where our patents lie is how we deliver it, and also how we dose is very unique compared to anyone else. And our design of our pod's very unique because you'll notice that it was shaped like a bullet. So down by your feet, that light was shining up your nose to the hippocampus. So we're really interested in getting that light up to the brain. And obviously everybody knows that this is soft tissue. This is hard tissue, this is the skull, right? So it's you have to have a lot more sessions to get through the skull. But we get reports from people that have had a lot of concussions, that they're cognitively, their brain fog is going away, all that stuff. So yeah, so I love that you liked the little head cushion.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And so in just my experience, I was listening to a webinar at the same time. I'm frequently multitasking. So, but I found myself incredibly relaxed. In fact, I totally knocked out. I mean, it's only 15 minutes. Yeah. What do you think? Sorry. What did you say?
I fall asleep all the time in the pod. In fact, when I first opened, you want to hear an embarrassing thing?
Yes. So we love that.
I was in the pod, sleep as can be, don't know how long, and somebody was knocking on the door. Hello, are you okay in there? And of course, you're the owner of the location and you're coming out of there. So I had to create a way for when they shut off. You'll notice that there's a click when they shut off because it's designed to really okay, I'm here, I'm awake. Because I listen to Brain FM. It's binaural beats. And I do meditation while I'm in the pod.
Okay.
There's great our pod sessions are 12 to 15 minutes. So there's great 15-minute meditations.
Yeah.
And I love to meditate during the pod because I'm sitting there doing something great for my body and I'm getting focused, just on my breathing, and because I obviously being a type A personality, I suffer a little bit from anxiety, just because I want to get everything done and I'm a goer. So it really, really helps me to meditate.
Yeah.
Right, in the pods. But yeah.
Well, not that everyone who's a type A has anxiety, but you have awareness that we don't want to diagnose everybody who's type A on the show. We're not medical providers. We're entrepreneurs trying to share information. So
it really does help me though. It helps me to meditate while I'm in the pod. But a lot of times I'll be in my meditation and I'm focusing on my breathing, and I'm out. I'm asleep.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So that happened to me, even though I was listening to this really interesting, it was called Rock Your Stage webinar. And then all of a sudden I'm out. And what I noticed, so I'm going to tell you what was happening in my body. So you go in naked, you take off your clothes, and the guy was in there. And so I was like, oh, well, yeah, okay, I get naked. Anyway, but of course he left. And then, so I do that and I'm very comfortable with that. It's totally fine. but then what was happening was before I got in, I was feeling a little bloated. So in my stomach and the organs there. And what I noticed about the light therapy is that it went to where I needed it the most, where my body needed to be healed. And so I felt it inside me, the tingling in that area, in my torso area. And so I felt that was interesting because the staff was telling me, oh, he felt it here in the head because that's where he needed it. And then I needed it there. So what do you think about that?
Well, actually, and I loved your analogy, and you said the light went there. Actually, the light didn't go there. The light was just penetrating your body.
Okay.
But here's what the light did. So the light kind of opened the neural pathways. And here's what happens when we start to have inflammation of the stomach or inflammation, from bloating.
Yeah. And by the way, that's what I did. There's all these codes. We didn't talk about that, but we can get into that.
Yeah.
The protocols. And he said, well, we suggest inflammation for everybody. So yeah, go on.
Yeah. So initial treatment is to lower inflammation in your body. And I'm actually working on a blog post about why inflammation is good for your body and when does it get out of control. Well, it gets out of control when you get into disease states. Okay, so but to get back to your specific issue, what happened was it opened those neural pathways. See, the brain and the body is so good at balancing itself when given the right substances. So the FDA actually has us listed correctly. The light doesn't heal or cure anything. It really doesn't. What the light does is it stimulates your body's own ability to heal itself. I mean, think about it. When you get a cut on your finger, the moment you get that cut, obviously you go, ow, okay? But that signal is sent to your brain, I've got a cut, and it begins to heal the cut.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, obviously, you want to clean it out. You want to put a Band-Aid on it, whatever you need to do to take care of
whatever
the cut.
physical things, you can do. Mm-hmm.
But the body is so amazing, it's healing that cut. And in your case, what happened was that light was kind of aligning your body, giving it what it needed, and opening those neural pathways, and your body was rushing into it. The tingling you were feeling wasn't from the light. It's from
my own
amazing body healing itself.
Yay.
Isn't that great?
Well, yeah, that's so empowering, and beautiful also, just the miracle of our bodies. And, another reason why I didn't know that David was such an incredible entrepreneur, but the reason why I wanted to connect with him was because I am a healer. I have clients and I do healing. And what you were talking about, like opening up the neural pathways to heal yourself, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what I'm doing. I'm removing the blocks that are spiritual so that they can heal themselves.
Right. And, it's all about awareness. And what I try to tell people is that I love science. Okay. Now, Carissa, the reason you're such a good healer is you care about people.
Yes.
Okay?
Thank you. Oh, that's so sweet.
Okay. But here's the thing. When you truly care about people, there's a comfort to that. And what everybody needs to understand is everything around us is energy. We are all energy. Now, I happen to have a belief. A lot of us have a belief that there's a higher God or power.
Yes, but I believe that.
Let's look at this from a science standpoint, because the reason that I opened Light Lounge was the science was so overwhelming of the goodness of this light and what it does for the human body that I could not resist to get involved in this. And I'd had a tumor in my chest, and it was the only thing that was really, really helping me. But think about this in terms of science, okay? Inside our bodies is pure energy. I mean, it is pure energy. And some of us have had to say goodbye to people that we love. They've passed away. And when we've seen them, after they've passed away, it just looks like, Elvis has left the building. All that energy is gone. So in science, it says that pure energy never dies. Pure energy goes back to the source. Goes back to the source. So
So science supports God or a higher being, right?
maybe or
Maybe.
a higher energy or
Higher energy or
like
the
we
universe, like whatever you define it.
absolutely and it's unquestionable. And I've had a few things happen in my life that were very interesting that we could get into on another podcast. But
Okay.
the true fact of the matter is that I believe that we don't really ever die. You know, we're just going to be moving on to another.
I
And so
believe that too. I'm right
and
there with
this
you.
is the reason that I think that you're such a good healer is because, you know, people feel that energy. And I think the biggest challenge with light is it took me 7 years to open up a studio because
Oh, really?
because I was like, oh, you know, are people gonna, you know, I don't really care what people think because I'm backed by science, but I want to be able to give the people that come in that are really skeptical and Carissa, you've seen them in your healing practice. When you say to somebody, I'm a healer, you'll see some guy or some woman roll their eyes. Oh yeah, she's a healer, right?
Yeah.
And if you've ever been around a really great healer, you can feel that energy. And
Yes.
what I always tell everybody is don't put your hands together. Put your hands about an inch apart.
Yes.
And what do you begin to feel? Energy.
Your
Heat.
energy, your own healing energy. I mean, that's
Right?
part of Qigong, Tai Chi,
Yeah.
a lot of,
And it's a beautiful. And so to get this mind awareness, and I think that Light Lounge, what's beautiful about Light Lounge is I watch our customers come in and they start to feel better, they start to act better, and then they realize, wait a minute, I'm just being exposed to this very low level light. Oh my God, everything is energy. They have this kind of awakening, this moment in their life where they're like, wait a minute, this is amazing. And I can heal myself because, Carissa, you know this. I think part of your healing is getting people aware that this is available to them.
that's right. Waking people up.
Yeah,
Because that's the first step.
yeah, we all are running around this world like little rats in a maze, doing our things, getting our groceries, taking all those things, right? But we
Some of
forget.
us a little more gracefully. You might call yourself a unicorn or a horse instead of a rat, but we
I
just want
don't
to
know.
accept all animals
All animals are
for
good.
analogies. Okay.
Yes, analogies. So, but my daughter would prefer the unicorns. But yeah, I really think that it is. It's about bringing awareness of this light. And the reason that you're seeing it so busy, 10 years ago, nobody really knew about this light. And it's coming into the nomenclature. Big athletes like Tom Brady used it. A lot of, Drew Brees uses a lot of big athletes using it many, many years ago. I work with Duke University, USC, CU, Boulder football and basketball. We know that this
amazing.
light works. Okay. We know this light works. Okay. And we know that it helps our bodies recover and create, more cellular activity. And that's the beautiful thing. And what I think, what Light Lounge is trying to do in the holistic community is we are trying to network with people like you, because what we want is we want a total solution for our customers.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So I want to hear more about your journey to discovering this, because you said you experienced your own disease, the tumor that you wanted healing. So you did some research and you found out, did you go to another place that had these pods?
Yeah. So no, actually what happened was 14 years ago, I had a surgery to remove a tumor. I've got a little bit of hernia here. You can see it.
Okay. Yeah, I can see it.
So I lost my 9th rib, and thoracic surgery is amazingly painful because they're basically filleting you like a fish and then sticking you back together, cutting all the nerve endings in your back. And what I found out was, 14 years ago, I was allergic to any opioids and pain medication, which turns out to be a good thing, right? Because opioids.
It's a blessing, but maybe you didn't realize that at the time.
Yeah, really, the pain was, I could only take Tylenol. And a very dear friend of mine, who's a chiropractor, came in with a laser. And he goes, we got nothing to lose. Let's put this laser on you. Because
Yeah.
this technology was yet to be in the form of LEDs, which you were exposed to LEDs that replicate the frequencies of lasers. Okay.
Okay.
But we also have lasers at
Interesting.
lightlounge so that we can do very specific treatments on certain nerve endings and almost
Okay.
acupuncture like with lasers with handhelds.
Yes,
And
I've experienced that.
yeah, and I started using this 14 years ago, and it saved my life. The
Oh
light
my
is
gosh.
and I worked with a gentleman by the name of I worked with Thor Laser initially because that was a laser. James Carroll, wonderful man. He's foremost thought leader in dosage. He's been in the industry, I think, since the late 80s. It's no joke. He's an amazing dude. And I worked with him initially, and he was the first that I knew of that did a full body pod in 2010. Okay. And so I've obviously evolved my company, and now we manufacture our own pods. But it's really, I've been in the industry for 14 years. I just didn't start my journey with creating studios to help people until about 8 years ago. We had a mobile unit. We went around the country.
Oh, was
we
that
looked,
successful? The mobile?
well, the mobile unit was successful because if I needed to meet somebody, I just parked them in because I don't
Yeah.
know many people, but if I needed to meet somebody in sports or whatever, that
Yeah.
just park them in and put on my four ways. And it was a good way to break the ice and talk with them.
That's true.
But I think that the reason that I did that was to find out if the technology could be viable for a group of people. So we put about 3,000 people through this mobile unit for a couple of years, and the results were pretty amazing. And we really found our break demographic for our business, and we found out it just so happens I live in the break demographic of Evergreen, and
Yeah.
Boulder, another really good demographic, and Cherry Creek is another demographic. And those are our break demographic. And what happens is it expands from there. And before you know it, 20 and 30-year-olds are in there because it helps with it. It helps with their education. They're more focused and their grades are going up. So it's really it's been a very, very unique journey. It will continue. It will be my legacy. In other words, this is the company that I hope to expand all over the country. But between the time you and I talked, we've signed 2 more franchises. We have one opening down in Dallas-Fort Worth, and one in Scottsdale, and we just signed one in Holland, Michigan. So we plan on being in every town, and I think that you will see that they'll probably be on every street corner because this is a way to avoid the slowing the aging process and avoiding these really horrible inflammatory diseases.
Yeah. And is there a high cost of production? What is the cost of one unit?
Well, our units retail for about $150,000. They're listed with the FDA. They are very expensive devices. So the reason that we did a kind of a gym membership is because this way you can access it for the cost of a cup of coffee. Coming in and spending $75 a session every once in a while. And it's something that I hope that everybody's been listening long enough that I hope that they understand that the research says that we should be using this kind of like flossing our teeth.
Oh, okay.
In other words, we want to floss our teeth a couple of times a day, right? And with light, you want to get in this light as often as you can, because it's just helping our bodies to cope with environmental stresses and just life stresses. And it's helping to keep us healthy, right? And I always say this to corporations. If you've got more than 50 employees, I mean, you should have one of these because number one, you'll have less sick days, you'll have more productivity, and you'll have happier employees, right? And so we do corporate wellness programs at our studios. And if you're close to one, it's the best thing you can do because all of my employees, they rarely ever call in sick. It's really unbelievable because it just helps keep you healthy.
Wow, that's amazing. You know, my background is in corporate wellness and ergonomics. Isn't that funny? I mean, I
Yeah.
still do it. I have corporate clients. So, very interesting that you're doing that. Well, how much science and research has been done on your solution?
Yeah, so that's a really great question. Over 5,000 human studies. And
Wow.
if we go into animal studies, it's in 30,000 range. It's the most studied light in the world. It has 500 double-blind placebos studies and even some triple-blind placebo studies. That's uh, how much people are interested. And here's the interesting thing too, is like with pharmaceuticals, um, and I'm going to make mention about pharmaceuticals too, but it's not in a negative way. But
Yeah.
I think that there is a great place for pharmaceuticals in our Western medicine, because if I get in a car accident, don't bring me to Light Lounge. Get me to the hospital and get
Oh,
me,
yeah, of
right.
course.
They saved my life. And I do, in the holistic community, I always hear this. Oh, they're the evil doers. No, they're
Oh,
not.
I don't think that at all. Yeah.
Not at all. I think, they're just absolutely not. Now, do you want to stay on pharmaceuticals all your life?
No.
No, probably not good for you. But I do believe that there's a great place for them to save
Mhm.
our lives and to do wonderful things. Medicine is an amazing field. We have
Yes.
amazing doctors and nurses. We have people that are really trying to help us. And so the reason that I want to mention that is because I believe that we need to change healthcare. And in this country, and a lot of people don't, this is an awareness call, everyone. We're in a disease care mechanism, not a health care mechanism. They call it health care because they
Hmm.
want to get you healthy. And I love the thing, and disease care doesn't, it's not a very good marketing play. Come on down to the hospital for disease
For
care,
disease. Yeah.
right? Yeah, nobody likes that. But what I hope is that we've created a non-invasive technology that will help to keep you healthier longer and avoid some of the pitfalls of the aging process. And that's what makes me very excited. And some of the overlaying technologies that we're working on, I have no doubt that we will defeat disease in the next 5 to 10 years.
Wow, that's amazing. You know, it's interesting. There's a hospital here in Colorado that just notified me they're changing their name to Spirit. It's like, whoa, a hospital having Spirit in the name. It's like it's almost like healthcare is getting this awareness too that they need to shift
Yeah.
and get back to prevention and wellness and health.
Yeah, we just have to honor this. This is
Yeah,
the most amazing gift in all of our
our
lives is
body. Yeah.
human bodies.
Yeah.
And we tend to not realize the trillions of things that are going on every day to keep us alive and enjoy this life. And it isn't, I love, yes, I did hear that.
Oh yeah, you
Spirit.
heard that? Yeah, because it's here in Colorado. Uh-huh.
And I love that because it's honoring the souls that are in all of our bodies and the
Mhm.
great work that we can do for humankind. And I really believe I love what you do, because I think that it's super important that people realize that within this body, we all have the power to live a happier, healthier life. You got to do some things. You got to, and you have to, take care of your body every day.
Yeah, you
You know,
can't just go to Light Lounge, right?
can,
Maybe
but
maybe there's you can, but like you have to have the whole picture. I mean, maybe there's something coming where you can provide education or supplement if people have any deeper issues like with nutrition or whatever it might be.
right. And for those out there, you and I are blessed, Chris. I mean, we're blessed with not only awareness, but we've been given gifts to share with the world. And there are a lot of folks out there that don't have the blessings that we have. And I get it. But what I hope is, and that's why I took a $150,000 medical device and made it affordable for everyone. I mean, I'm proud to tell you that I have clerks that work at grocery stores that make 30,000 a year, teachers, they can all afford our memberships. And I'm really proud of that, because I think that everybody should be able to get access to great health care.
Mm-hmm.
And that's my wish. And I know that we obviously we live in a society where we have to pay money and we've got bills and all this kind of stuff. But I think that there's just a lot of entrepreneurs that want to make things that are very expensive affordable.
Yeah,
right?
that's a trend that you're seeing. That's
Yeah.
wonderful that you have that mission. So how many locations do you have today of Light Lounge? Do
Well,
you know?
I'm proud to tell you that right now we have 6 locations that are open across the country. We have
Okay.
the St. Charles, Missouri, which is just north of St. Louis, Missouri. We are about to open one in Dallas Fort Worth area, and we have one here in Evergreen, one in Arvada, one in Littleton, and one in Denver, Cherry Creek on North Colorado Boulevard. And we have one in Lehigh, Utah that's open. And soon we'll be opening one in North Scottsdale. So we're opening them all over the country. We've sold 27 locations. Fortunately, there's not a 10 of me, so we can only open so many of them at a time, but
Yeah.
we're learning to scale that. And I'm excited about the future of healthcare. I'm excited about bringing the world happiness more so, like you said. And you probably noticed when you went in, like everybody seemed really happy, right? And I love
Yeah, and
that.
grounded, like a grounded peacefulness, not just happy, but like, yeah, grounded. That's
It's
like really cool.
a beautiful thing. And, Carissa, maybe it's just because I got old and mellowed out, but I really do believe that the aging process is such a joy to be part of. And I know that we don't hear this. And another wish that I have is that people that are 20 and 30 and teenagers, I hope that they hear this message from me. Life gets better. It just gets better the more that you're part of it and the more that you get this wonderful perspective. Yes, okay, you're going to age. You should have saw me in the 90s. I had amazing hair. Whatever it is, right? Whatever it is, who cares? But this life journey is so beautiful and so enriching every moment. If I could go back to my younger self, none of the older people that I was around would say, "Hey, David, wait till you get 60. It's amazing." But hey, everybody, wait till you get 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. You're going to love it because all the things that you're going to learn and remember and enjoy. I love it.
Yeah, I'm having a similar experience with aging. I'm having more joy. I'm healthier than I've ever been. And so it's really interesting because you're right. A lot of the messages that we got, I mean, in my 20s, I never thought I would feel that way. So let's change the dialogue. Let's change the message.
Yeah, everybody should read Chip Conley's new book. It's all about embracing aging, and I love Chip.
I've met him. I met him in Santa Monica.
He's a wonderful man.
He is wonderful. Yeah.
And
Great entrepreneur. Yeah.
He's trying to shift the thought around aging because, look, we need 60, 70, and 80-year-olds mentoring our companies and corporations.
Oh, good point.
We've seen a lot. I don't think that we should be running them. I think we should leave that up to these 20 and 30 and 40-year-olds that are amazing young people. But there's just such knowledge and information and perspective, that can be gained by these corporations bringing in us young, middle-aged folk.
Yeah, right. Okay, I did want to get to a question. I know we're running out of time here, but I'm just so curious to hear about Beachbody and what inspired you to start that company and how you built it to such a successful company.
Okay, so first of all, I didn't start Beachbody.
Okay.
2 guys by the name of Carl Deichler and John Cogden started Beachbody in the late 1990s.
Uh-huh.
And they're amazing dudes. And what happened was they were about to launch this product called P90X with Tony Horton.
Oh my,
And
they brought you in?
And they brought myself in and Chris Simonian and a bunch
Oh
of.
my God. That's
And
amazing.
what was neat about that, when they were getting people on YouTube to enter this competition to win an all expenses trip to Hawaii.
Okay.
And one of the things that we found out when we were doing this was they sold a lot of products through referrals.
Okay.
So John and Carl and the whole team there, I think when they started, and forgive me, I think they had 200 employees. I think they have 6,000 employees now. I mean, it's amazing, right?
Oh, wow.
One of the things that we found out with people, if I did the workout and I shared it online, you might join me.
Oh, yeah.
They called them coaches. And
Mm-hmm.
It was a bit of a bump. They were an infomercial company when I first met them. It was a bit of a bump for them to become a network marketing organization, but they did the network marketing organization. They expanded the Shakeology products. And that's really what took them off. Darren O'Lean helped them with this superfood Shakeology thing, and it just exploded. They have amazing, now they're called Body, BODI. They're a publicly traded company. I think they're, forgive me, I think they're around $5 to $6 billion a year juggernaut now. And so in 14 years, we saw them grow from about a $2 million company. And what's beautiful, and I have to really hats off to Carl and John, is they wanted to reverse the trend of obesity.
Yeah. Right.
And what's beautiful about that is when you eat right, when you exercise, you're also happier. So, and so it's been I'm still part of this organization. I always will be. I really believe in their mission. I really believe in the health and happiness of everyone, and nutrition is key, and I think that you're going to see some phenomenal things with light and nutrition in the future, which is going to blow your mind.
Oh, but, I love that.
Yeah, I mean, I love Beachbody, and matter of fact, I'm not that I look like Shaun T because bodybuilding now, but I am doing his new program right now, Dig Deeper. And it's really hard, but it's really fun because he is an extraordinary human being, and just a wonderful person. If you ever get a chance to meet Shaun and his partner, just amazing people. And Beachbody tends to find these amazing trainers. And but if you guys want to see me every other morning lifting weights, then just come over to Body and join me.
Okay, great. Well, how can our audience get a free session? Do you offer the first time free at any Light Lounge?
Yeah? Yes, we have a great, if you're okay with booking online, you can go to lightlounge.life.
Okay.
When you select your location, you can actually book your first free session. When you get to checkout, there's a code that you can put in. It's called Free Light, all caps. And it'll take your $79 session to zero. Or you can give us a call at 720-791-3000, and you can be connected to any of our studios and talk to somebody. If you prefer to book that way, you can. And but we love to give away free sessions. We love to educate people about light therapy, and I believe that it is the future of healthcare. I think it's something that I will do the rest of my life, just on how I feel. And it's really funny. And I got to share this because my wife, who's really fit, amazing lady, really smart, just like you, Carissa. She's a smart lady, beautiful lady.
I think I met her actually.
Oh, did you?
At Whole Foods too, because our daughters go to the same art school. But I haven't talked to her in depth, but I always liked her energy.
So my wife, when she gets in, like when I get in the light, I just feel like I could run through a brick wall. I mean, I feel the energy of it. But my wife gets in, she doesn't feel anything. And I go, honey, why do you get in? Are you just because you feel good for me? She goes, no. Have you seen the science on this stuff? So, and I'm like, just a little bit, but that's the interesting thing. It's not about necessarily getting in the light and feeling better. It's about what it does for your body. And I tell that story all the time because it's important to understand that whether or not you feel it, like this charge of energy, and maybe the reason I feel it is because, I've drank the Kool-Aid, right? Like I'm just,
You believe in it. Yeah. Full.
mindset. The power of the mind, right? So
Yeah.
if I'm saying, oh, I'm charging up my batteries. Woo, come on,
Yeah.
like maybe that just positive mental attitude has a better effect on my body and it creates more energy. I don't know, but I just feel so good when I get out of it. And obviously you can tell I got in today. I've got a lot of energy.
I can tell. Okay. Well, you got to do it before and after because I don't know if you're naturally like this, but it's been such a pleasure getting to know you, hearing about Light Lounge and experiencing it because that motivated me to actually go myself. And just you sharing about your failures and successes. And I'll put your website. How can everybody get a free session in the show notes? So thanks for being on my show today, David.
That's awesome. Thanks, Carissa. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
That's it for today's episode of Zen Success. Head on over to iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you listen to shows. Subscribe to the show and share with friends. Be sure to head on over to ZenSuccessShow.com to help you on your Zen success journey. And join us on the next episode. May you find your own Zen success in life.